competing with the Cowboys game, but we are so happy that you are here. My name's Roy Rosenbrink. I am the president of Frisco Democratic Club. On behalf of the organization FDC, I want to welcome you to this event. Are you excited about electing Governor Tim Walz and Vice President Kamala Harris? Are you excited about electing Colin Allred to replace Ted Cruz? Are you excited about electing our great local, state, and county candidates? As Kamala has continued to remind us, this is going to be a very close race. We know that, okay? All of our races in Texas are going to be close. Are you ready to fight? Yes. We know that if we fight, we win. We know that if we fight, we win. All right. We also know that we're going to have, in order to fight and win, it's going to take a lot of work between now and the election to get the vote out. So, why is getting the vote out so important? It's funny. I don't know if you all know Virginia Burgett. She's our events chair for FDC. Give her a big round of applause. Virginia put the PowerPoint together for me and the organization, so she gets to run it, okay? So if I do a dance up here, you know it's to get her to change a slide. Okay. In the 2018 midterm election in Texas, which this represents, if you look at the bottom row, in Collin County, the difference in votes between Beto and Ted Cruz was only 6.2%. And statewide, it was only 8.2%. Next slide. All right, if you look at this, in the 2020 national election in the state of Texas, 5.8 million Republicans voted and 5.2 Democrats voted. We only lost that election in Texas by about 600,000 votes. In the grand scheme of things, that ain't a whole lot, okay? The saddest statistic on this slide, however, is the fact that nearly 10 million eligible voters did not vote. But this tells us why it's so important to get out the vote for this election. So, we have plenty of opportunity if we work hard, okay? Another important statistic, in 2020 national election, 76% of the registered Democrats in Collin County voted. That's a great turnout, okay? However, if 2% more would have voted in Collin County, we'd have turned the county blue. That is a very small amount, okay? So, again, that's why we're here trying to get the vote out, okay? All right, you with me? Yeah. All right. Okay, next slide, please. All right. So, one of the first things you can do is check your registration, your voter registration. And if you don't have this slide, take a picture of it right now, because that QR code will take you right to where you can check your voter registration, okay? You need to make sure all the information is correct on it. And the reason I say this is because a Republican-based group from Houston by the name of True the Vote have been systematically going county by county and challenging voter registrations. Denton and Collin County have both been hit with this, okay? There was a big thing about Denton County in the news not long ago, okay? There's no validity to their challenges other than the fact that they want to suppress the vote, okay? And they want to slow the process down. So what we don't want is you to get to the polls and you have a problem with your registration. Okay, so check it now, and tell a friend or a relative to make sure they check the registration too, okay? All right, now, two people who are champions for getting out the vote and champions for supporting our local candidates and doing everything in their power to help them get elected are our Denton and Collin County Democratic Party chairs, Delia Parker Mims and Sheena King. Give it up for them. I've asked both of them to offer up a few words today. Now, Delia, you just walked in. You want to rest for a minute? You want Sheena to go first? Or do you want to go?
I'll let her go.
Okay, all right. So, without further ado, please welcome to the stage our awesome Collin County Democratic Party Chair, Sheena King.
All right, so I think Delia and I just flipped a coin. We are in Collin County, right? Yes, awesome. So the last time I was here, it was before the DNC, before convention. A lot's happened, right?
Yeah.
A few things, a few roll calls, and a lot of energy and excitement. So I am here just to share with you guys what we are doing in Collin County and how we could definitely use your support. So as Roy mentioned, and thank you Frisco Dems for inviting me, because you guys are rocking the whole block walking situation that's happening. Boots on the ground is where we're gonna win this at. But I just wanna make mention of a couple things that we're doing specifically in Collin County and where we can use your help. So in case you did not know, what Roy just showed, that percent and how close we are, it is amazing how much progress has been done. So we cannot take for granted that this election is in the books. We have to still fight, we have to still work. So our lines are like this. We are on a trajectory to actually flip Collin County. Flip Collin County. Not in 2 years of this cycle, but it is gonna take all of us. I almost rubbed the donkey when I came up here. It reminds me of a Apollo, for those who are my age. Just for good luck, right? So I took a Democratic donkey that I received in this place from the Frisco Dems to National Convention. And that Democratic donkey came back with some things to tell you. So that Democratic donkey wanted me to say on behalf of Barack Obama that change needs to come back home. So, Mr. Obama, President Obama, and let's just say, look, can we take a moment of personal privilege, a pause? How lucky are we, each and every one of us, to have lived in such a time as this? To have seen the first Black president, to have seen Joe Biden do what he needed to do to get this country back on track, to have seen the first female who was a nominee for President Hillary Clinton, to have been able to witness the first woman as a vice president. And now we're on the cusp of something so transformational, so energetic, I cannot even breathe sometimes, and I just think that I was in the same airspace as all of that change. So I just want to say a few things that Barack Obama wanted me to share with you. He said we need to build a democracy for the future, not the past. And what gives me hope is the promise and potential of the next generation of leaders who are coming up, young people who understand that the future of democracy, and in fact, the very planet that we live on, hangs in the balance. These young people are ready to do the work, and many of them are already deeply engaged in the project of rebuilding our democracies. And so Collin County is so proud to have so many young people who are running, who you will hear from today, and so many young volunteers who are really making a difference. So I want to share what Collin County is doing because we need your help. We need you to actually help with boots on the ground. You may have already block walked your actual precinct. We need you to help block walk another one. There are precincts that need to be adopted. We're having adopted precincts in Collin County. We want to make sure every single door, all those doors that we talked about that may not have gotten knocked, or maybe they got knocked and people still didn't think that it made a difference, we need you to help them understand it makes a difference. If every single one of them said, my vote doesn't count, guess what? That happened 10 million times. 10 million people said my vote doesn't count. and who was there to tell them it actually does. So that's where you come in. We need your help. Postcards, pizza, and phone banking. That's what we do every Tuesday night in Collin County. We want you to come out and help us do that. We are going to be contacting people to either chase their votes by mail or to contact them and make sure they have a plan to vote, because those who have a plan are more likely to vote. We also want to make sure that you come out and support our Johnson Richards dinner. It is our biggest fundraiser of the year. It is where we are going to pour all of our dollars into all of the coordinated campaign efforts, because we are not going to look at our bank account after this happens and say, oh, we raised a bunch of money. We want to be down to zero. We want to be down to zero because we want to make sure we do everything. We leave it all on the field. We're going to be having billboards. We're going to be having a text campaign. We have a lot of mailers, some very interesting mailers that are going to be going out hitting your doors pretty soon. And I just want to leave you guys with this. A few people will say, how can I get off of those text messages? Why do they keep harassing me? Guess what? You have some options. You can either ignore it and continue to get them. You can hit stop and just opt yourself out, or you can do something.
Yes.
So how about do something? That's what I want you to make sure that you leave this moment in time, leave it all on the field. Have no regrets, because you want to look back and be able to tell your family. You want your family to know that you were here and you actually made a difference. So welcome to Collin County.
Let me tell you, these two are busy women, okay? They're somewhere every day and every night just about. I know where Sheena was yesterday. And I know that Delia is just as busy. So please welcome to the stage and thank her for being here, Delia Parker Mims from Denton County.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Do
Sunday.
do
Sunday.
do
Sunday.
Come on now, y'all gotta sound like you got some energy.
Yeah.
That amazing Democratic convention that we heard a few weeks ago, we were left with the mantra that we had to go out and do something. So I'm gonna talk to you about two things: that it matters and that we can do it. But I'm gonna do reverse. We can do it. Now, you heard Roy talk about the voting numbers, but the way I look at it is like this. Right now, when Republicans are elected statewide, a little more than a third Republicans vote for them. And then we find a little less than a third Democrats voted. And then we find that there's about a third of people who are registered but did not vote. So there's a whole third of our state that gives us room to get people more to the polls. And it can be done. A strategic, energetic, get out the vote campaign can be done, and that is our job of the county parties, is to get them to the polls. And you'll hear from the candidates, their job is to convince you to vote for them. And what we did in Denton County in the last cycle to get people out, because what we're doing matters. We increased our funding because we did it in a very, very deep job of fundraising, and it was difficult because in this area, Democrats are not used to donating. We increased our fundraising, we had a strategic outreach, we were paying for block walkers, we paid for all of our candidates to advertise, we're doing videos about ectopic pregnancies and the reason why women need to have that choice. We were paying phone bankers. And Denton County is the only county in North Texas, actually 1 out of 11, that increased Democratic turnout. Because people started caring and started going out and getting out to do that. So we can do it. Thank you so much for that, because when we say we increase Democratic turnout, people don't understand how important that is. Even though it was small, we went this way. San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, El Paso, all blue cities. Houston did not do what? Increased turnout. So if they had a huge turnout in 2018, those counties only got about 60-70% in 2022. So we don't need blue counties to just stay blue. We need them to go deep, right? And so an organized, get out the vote, strategic way of approaching it. And when I say strategy, that means sometimes you make hard decisions because we have to allocate our resources where we have to allocate them. That can make a difference. And what you do can make a difference. Even if you're going to donate 2 hours a week, phone banking for a candidate and making sure people vote all the way down the ballot, it matters. And we're only going to ask you to call Democrats, right? Because I'm not trying to increase Republican turnout. So you're not going to, and then if you do call someone who's not a Democrat, you're going to put that data in there, and that's going to help Kamala and her team, because that data, they're going to see that's a Republican. Okay, so what we do matters. Now I'm going to tell you why it matters. I'm going to end on that. Don't hold me to it because I'm a lawyer, but you know, I'm going to try to make it quick. So a couple of weeks ago, my very best friend's daughter-in-law died in labor. She bled out. In fact, the funeral is tomorrow. She was in her 20s. She had a 2-year-old. She's married. And needless to say, everybody's devastated. And so my friend, being the researcher that she is, starts researching, and we all know maternal mortality rates are terrible in an industrialized country like ours, and even worse in Texas. They were terrible in California, but apparently, probably because they had a Democratic governor, they said, let's research why are women dying in pregnancy. And they determined that a large reason is because people just don't care. How scientific is that? Men, women, I'm not going to say just men, but the medical industry is geared towards men, even with heart attacks. Women die most for heart attacks, right? We say we have heart problems. They say you're just being dramatic. So we know that being pregnant is a very serious condition, right? And the right to make a decision about your own autonomy, I don't care if it's because you're not ready to have a baby, or if it's because you want to live, or you know that your baby's only going to live 72 hours and then die in pain. You should have the right to make that decision. So some of you may have seen a few days, I've been debating, and I debated this man who said, women should have the right to autonomy, but I don't know what he said because I usually black out when people say that. And I had to remember, you're on a network where they purport to be Christian, because my first response was, and I probably can say this even less that day, what the fuck do you think you're, but I didn't go. And I had to think this way in milliseconds, you know, and I'm like, oh, I probably won't get irritated, but don't do that. So I don't even know what he said, because guess what, I don't give a fuck what you think about the but. And so I decided, well, I'm not gonna get kicked out, but I'm gonna slap you with some reality. And I said, well, you have the privilege of doing that because you will never be raped by your father and be forced to bear his child. He said, oh, and thank God. I said, yeah, thank God for you. But a woman who's in that situation should have the right to decide to do what they're gonna do. I'm hoping y'all prefer that better than me just blacking out and cussing out. You know? I don't know if I can. And that was before my friend's daughter died, her daughter-in-law. But that is the why we have to do what we're doing. You know, if anybody who read Roe v. Wade knows that we balanced freedom and potential life. It was a perfect case of when we should get into the realm of having the right to say no, or when the state's rights more important. And the fact that they want to take away a woman's right and think that's okay, it's because they don't care. And obviously we know that's not all men. There's a whole lot of men, a whole lot of people of all races who know that not only is democracy on the line, but right now, women's rights are on the line, and I am in a constant state of rage. I fucking care about anything else too much, sorry. But that is, I'm sorry. it's been real. I can be real. I try not to do it all the time. But I'm amongst friends, okay? I was in a hostile place. So we appreciate you guys coming out. Remember, everything you do matters, not just for the person you're working for, that candidate, but up and down the ballot. And if you want to do it in an organized way, get with the party, because we're trying to get everybody on that ballot elected. So have a great day. Thank you so much.
Okay, little change of pace. We have in Frisco, we're like other big cities in that we have more than one county encompassing our city, okay? We've got, basically, there's a big dividing line, and that's called the Dallas North Toll Road. And on the east side of the toll road is pretty much Collin County, and on the west side, it's Denton County, okay? And we are very fortunate in this election that every candidate we can vote for in Frisco has a quality candidate on the Democratic side, okay? We are so excited about this race. So I couldn't have a gathering of Dems and not allow them to at least have a few minutes to introduce themselves and tell you in a couple of minutes, because we do want to let James Talarico speak for a while, okay? Is he here? He's not here yet, is he?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, so that being said, we're going to start over here, and I'm going to hand him the mic, and then we're just going to go down the road. And you can hand each other, take a couple of minutes, introduce yourselves, tell them what you're running for, and and then we'll see if James gets you. Okay. All right. We're going to start right here with Sandeep Srivastav.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for coming. I'm Sandeep Srivastav. I'm running in Congressional District 3, from which is Collin County and Hunt County. If you live east side of Tollway, all Collin County, and then a part of Hunt County after gerrymandering. So now we are 29 days away from early voting. And mail-in voting will start a little bit more early. So this 29 to 45 days are very important, as you might have heard from Sheena and Delia. Like, this election is a historic election, and it is very important for our future generation, because we are not going back. This election is to defend women's rights. This election is to give affordable health care to all. This election is to legalize the gay marriage, so that people can live and love whom they want. Because I believe someone's love is not determined by whom they love, but by their depth of their love. So this election is very important for us, and this is a historical election also, because we are going to elect first female president. If we elect Colin Rowlett, first black senator from the state of Texas, and me, first Indian or South Asian from the state of Texas. So let's be the part of the history, and let's go out and vote. And pledge, ask 10 people whom you know, make a list, keep texting them till they go out and vote. Ask them to send you the picture and post them on Facebook. Because this is very important election for our future generation. Thank you very much.
Democratic nominee for the seat in the United States House of Representatives for Texas Congressional District 26. I'm running to give voters a better choice and hope for a better future. I'm a retired naval officer, specialized in nuclear power, served tours on multiple warships, including the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz. These were times of service, long hours, few personal comforts, and hard work that required dedication. After I retired, I was hired by Texas Instruments to work in the business of manufacturing semiconductors. I was working hard to keep high-paying jobs in a critical industry here in America. Years before all of this, I was the youngest in a family of 6 where my father was a Navy chaplain. We moved a lot, met a lot of different people, saw different parts of the world, and I grew up listening to my father's sermons, and my faith developed. And it's pretty much love your neighbor, and we're all neighbors. These skills and knowledge that I've learned through these experiences are what I want to bring to Congress. I want to work on our economy and make it to where more people, all of us, can have a better quality of life. I want to protect our rights and freedoms. You've heard a lot about that tonight. And I want to make it to where everyone feels safe from all issues, foreign and domestic. We work too hard at making people afraid these days. So I'm Ernest Lineberger, your Democratic nominee for Texas Congressional District 26. I could use your help, I could use your vote. There's a lot going on, it is so close. The best anyone's done in my district is 39%. We can do so much better. Thank you.
How you guys doing? My name is Dale Frey, and I'm running to be your next Texas State Senator for District 30. Big, massive area, stretches across the right counties, so I do a lot of driving. But more importantly, it's all of Frisco, so it doesn't matter if you're in Denton County or Collin County, I'm going to be on your ballot this coming November. But to tell you a little about myself, my wife came back down here to Texas, and I came with her to be with her father when he got stage 3 cancer, which segues into the many reasons I'm running for office, because I have a soft spot in my heart for trying to fix our broken healthcare system. One of the first warning signs I got to see how bad things were down here was a friend of mine who owns her own LLC, who is a healthcare provider, is ranting to me over a cup of coffee how she has to drop her Medicaid recipients because she says that money's just not there anymore. The Medicaid rates have not been adjusted since long before the pandemic, and inflation's killing her in the sector. It's so frustrating because we're not part of the Medicaid expansion program, a program that we already pay money into, and Texas is losing $10 billion a year over not being part of, which is needless. All the meanwhile, kids having to drop for Medicaid recipients. This affects people's lives. It affected my father-in-law's life, especially as a retired public school teacher. Because my God, guys, I was shocked to find out how little amount of money public school teachers make in their retirement. I was shocked to find out how little amount of money they make before they retire. Another friend of mine told me how much money she made, who went to Frisco ISD. She told me how much money she made before she retired. I said, my God, that's the same amount of money I made in my first job at college. Our schools are not being supported right now. The rates, the basic allotment and the formula that is used that determines how much money that goes to our ISDs is up, and it just was long before the pandemic either. And because of that, inflation is also killing our public schools. The legislature keeps coming back trying to fix that formula, but every time they do, they tie it to a school voucher scam. This school voucher scam does not utilize our big massive surplus. It sacrifices public education funding. This school voucher scam, if it were to pass, would be the final nail in the coffin for our public schools. Now, so far the House has stopped the school voucher scam so far. I mean, I'm nervous about this election, guys, and you should be too, because I don't know how long the state House can hold on for. But we definitely need state senators to be against the school voucher scam, because that's where the law is being initiated right now. It's coming from the upper chamber, not the lower. And I'm running to be your next Texas State Senator for District 30, and I'll be on your ballot. Thank you for your time. If you want to learn more about me, come to FreyForTexas.com, FREY for Texas.com. I've got some literature up there. It has my face on it, you can't miss it. Thank you for your time.
I'm Sharon Stark. No, I'm not running for office. I'm here to speak for our Dale. I'm sorry. Oh, I got you on my mind. Sorry, for Tony Adams, who's running for House District 61. part of the eastern part of Frisco and other parts of Frisco. It's kind of a gerrymandered line in our in-house District 61. He couldn't be here tonight, so he asked me to say a few words. He is for inclusive over divisive politics, for working families, for educators, for children's quality education, for getting state and politicians out of classrooms and libraries, for funding teachers' well-deserved raises and retirement, and for fighting against the school voucher scam. And finally, he will be our educators' lifelong friend in Austin as their next congressman. So you can find more information about Tony at TonyAdamsForPeople.com. Thanks, everybody.
I'm also going to stand up here because it's a lot more fun standing down there. Hi, my name is David Karstens. I've met a lot of you. I'm the candidate for Texas State House District 66. I'm also one of those young people that Barack Obama and Sheena King were talking about. And when you give these speeches, you're supposed to talk about why you're running. And that's always the beginning, in the middle, and the end. It's all about that. And I have reasons in the beginning, and I have reasons in the middle, and I have reasons now. But increasingly, the reason has become that I'm running not in spite of my youth, but because of it. I have more energy. I have more free time. I don't have kids I have to look out for. And most importantly, I'm really, really, really tired of the same people making all of the same decisions for me. If you open up the New York Times and you go all the way back in the archive and start looking at political stories from the 90s, from before I was born, so I was born in 98, pick something in like 94, you're going to see a lot of the exact same debates that we're having now. We're talking about immigration, abortion, assault weapons bans. In fact, we had one and now we don't. We're going to see a lot of the exact same conversations, and that's because it's the exact same people having these conversations. They've been there for 30 years. My incumbent opponent in a state level legislature is about to win 10 years. He's been here 10 years, right? You think they would have solved something, or at least think the conversations would be new. There would be new problems, or new solutions, or new ideas, and there's just not, because the incentive structure is not there to make them solve problems. The incentives, and I've already experienced this as somebody running, the incentive is get on the news. The incentive is now get social media followers. It's be loud. It's be unintelligent, because that actually brings in the money, which is a little disappointing. And so maybe that can't change. Maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm young, maybe I'm naive about all of this. And I'm sure I'll get called that when I go to Prestonwood in a few weeks and do a town hall with my opponent. But I do still believe that it's the job of our legislators and our politicians to care about people, to be empathetic, to find solutions to problems instead of making ones up. I believe it's time for that change. Change is work, change is hard work, but I think we can do it. Again, I'm David Karstens. If you haven't met me, please come too. Sorry,
I'm not going to climb up here. Not that I'm afraid of the stage, I'm afraid of these booths. Seriously, hi, I'm Mama Johnston, and I am running to be the next state representative for District 106. District 106 is all of the Denton County side. Sorry, Collin County, you've got great candidates. But Denton County, Frisco, Prosper, Salina, Pilot Point, Aubrey, Krugerville, Sanger, little bit of Louisville ISD. You can also find the Colony there. So I've got a huge and vast district. What's unique about this district is we have a lot of places with a lot of urbanization, a lot of people, and a lot of money, like Frisco and the Colony. But we also have a lot of farmland, a lot of horse properties, a lot of ranches, and a lot of ranchers. Their needs are specifically and independently different from one another, and our legislator has not and is not recognizing all of them. So, why am I running? As a fourth generation Texan, a small business owner, I've seen the values that make our state strong. Hard work, our community, and a deep how extremism, like the kind that my opponent Jared Patterson champions, is tearing our communities apart. And I'm tired of it. That's the why. So, my campaign is about something different. It's about bringing us together, because I truly believe that our strength lies in what unites us and not what divides us. It's time that we start to get back to what truly matters. Restoring and protecting women's reproductive rights in Texas. It's time that we start protecting and investing in our public schools, and to finally recognize our teachers, their hard work, and give them the respect and the resources that they deserve. And y'all, we have got to protect our environment. It is truly a legacy that we owe to our children and our grandchildren. But it doesn't stop there. We have to enact sensible gun safety measures like red flag laws and safe storage laws to keep our communities safe. We have to invest in our economy by investing in our small businesses. I'm out of time. There's so much we can do, and you can find out all about what I want to do at www.hava106.com. Thank you, guys.
I'm George King. I just retired last year after 40 years of service as a classroom teacher and a campus principal, and I'm running for State Board of Education District 12. District 12 includes North Dallas, all of Collin County, northern half of Denton County, up to the Red River and all the way over to Texarkana. So it's a vast area. It includes a lot of rural counties. Guys, we have public education is in the eye of the storm. It is a dynamic area right now. We have a governor intent on privatizing and Christianizing public education, and the State Board of Education leads in the development of state curriculum, textbooks, learning materials, charter schools, and teacher certification. So these are all important features of public ed. And when I talk about Christianizing, we have these Christian materials that are being infused into elementary curriculum, and the State Board of Education simply needs to stop that, reason being that will endanger the inclusivity of our children. If we have to have curriculum that honors all of the world religions and doesn't just focus on one. Imagine a child. Imagine a child sitting in an elementary classroom who was raised in a different faith tradition, and they would feel alienated over time, and their capacity to achieve would be diminished by this. We have social studies curriculum, K through 12, on the docket for the State Board of Education in 2025. And this is another area where we risk diminishing the inclusivity of our children. We have to make sure that curriculum remains accurate, comprehensive, and does not whitewash our history, because by doing so, we will distort the stories of others, we will diminish the voice of our children, and so there's critical pieces at work in ensuring that our children remain included in our curriculum. I'm going to leave it up to my brothers and sisters who are running for state legislator offices to take care of that, be a firewall for that voucher scheme, but I want to say this about the vouchers as a principle. Those vouchers will not include our most fragile children, our most vulnerable children, and they simply won't be able to access private school. They'll be turned down because the private schools don't offer those kind of programs to take care of those children. And so it is simply another plan to resegregate our children in school. Guys, State Board of Education, and when you're having crucial conversations with people right now about who you're going to vote for, because you need to be having those conversations, right? And you say, who are you going to vote for the State Board of Education? They probably won't have an answer because they don't even know what it is. So tell them, George King, 40 years of experience in public ed, his opponent, none. Enough said. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Freddie Bishop. My daddy's third boy. But just want to let you know I'm running for Denton County Sheriff. I want to do something a little different. I want to tell the why first, and then I'll give you my credentials. I am tired of this us against them mentality. We and this blue line that I just saw on a flyer that stated, "Keep the blue line blue." Well, we know from the 1950s how that blue line was sometimes, and it was supposed to be to protect people, but now in 2024, they're saying to keep the thin line blue. Well, I'm running for Denton County Sheriff because I'm trying to make it fair for everybody who can come to that department or whatever and get the service that they need. I retired from Dallas Police Department in 2017. I am from Denton, Texas. I went to Denton High there. I went to the U.S. Army. I served time in the Army. I was a drill sergeant in the United States Army along with Air Defense Artillery. I worked at the Sheriff Department for 6 years, and then I went to the Dallas Police Department where I worked as a detective and retired there. I am presently teaching at Little Elm High School where I teach Law Enforcement 1, Law Enforcement 2, Principles of Law for the amendments, the 1st through 7th Amendment, and then also I'm coaching boys basketball, 9th grade boys basketball. It is time for a job. It is time. I am qualified to do this job. I want to get back to the people. I want to form a partnership with the people, the community, and just say, let's work together. That's with businesses and citizens, every citizen for Denton County, not just a selected few that he uses or that he goes and talks to, or that certain fashion. If you don't fit the criteria, you're not going to be a part of his team. So I need you to go down the ballot, let people know Denton County, there's a new change, and if y'all get out, tell them to get out and vote. Please go down the ballot. I'm on bishopfordenton.com. I have a sign, I have some literature over there. If you want to donate, I'm accepting donations. Also, if you want a phone bank, we have a phone bank that we can do also. And I'm running with the mic, I'm running out of time. No. Thank you for coming, thank you for listening. Once again, Bishop Frederick Bishop for Denton County Sheriff. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Stephanie Cooksey, and I'm running for Collin County Tax Assessor Collector. I'm a graduate of UNT, so I love my Denton also. I'm a native Texan. I've been in Collin County for almost 20 years, so I've seen the growth, I've seen the changes, and like many of us have said, we're not going back. It's time to move forward in all aspects of county government, of just our lives. We don't want to go back to what we had. It's time to grow. We want to make sure that we're able to grow and to move forward. As county tax assessor collector, the first thing I like to say is, I don't raise taxes. I don't have anything to do with that. So you can take a breath on that. But I do see it as an opportunity to educate those who don't know what the county tax assessor does, collect the taxes. It's an opportunity to make sure that we are continuing to grow, that we are continuing to be innovative, that we don't make it harder to do the things that we have to do, and paying taxes is one of them. That's one of our biggest bills. So we want to make sure that as we grow, the office grows, and that we make sure that it's not a burden for someone to get out and do the things that they have to do. I also want to make sure that we are protecting our information, the customers, the citizens' information. We know that's a big deal. And all over the state, in all different parts of our lives, our information is out there. So we want to make sure as we grow and as we innovate that we can also protect that information. And the last thing is, I see the tax assessor's office as a first line of defense. You should be able to go on there and find out who your county commissioner is, find out what they believe in, so you can be an educated voter. And an educated voter is a good voter. So you should be, the office should be transparent. Find out where those taxes are going. Find out if you want to vote for them. Keep the same person in office. So I appreciate your time. And again, my name is Stephanie Cooksey, and I am running for Tax Assessor Collector. One more thing, I'll break that out. If I'm talking to the last person, I'll probably pick the last person on that ballot.
Hey, let's give it up again for all of these